in the same 24 hours, you see the University of Pennsylvania announce it will no longer allow men to participate in women's sports. And it's been brought to heel by Linda McMahon, who runs Trump's Department of Education, saying, you violated Title IX, you violated the rights of those young women, and now you will be posting all over your website and elsewhere how sorry you are. I want individualized letters of apology to the women you hurt, which is unbelievable. And you will strip the male athletes, hello, Lia Thomas, of their fraudulently obtained medals and titles, which will now be restored to their rightful female winners. So Lia Thomas, who is a man pretending to be a woman, will no longer be the person who won, for example, the women's 500 at the NCAA championship. The rightful winner of that will now be restored. Riley Gaines, who tied Lia Thomas for 5th, and I think it was the 200, will now herself have, I think, the 4th place. I don't know, I got to do my math, but she doesn't have to share her title with anybody now, thanks to this. And no comment yet from Lia Thomas, but here's Riley Gaines reacting to that on Fox News yesterday.
I feel vindicated. I feel like pigs are flying. I feel like hell has frozen over. So it is a fantastic day, of course, for sanity, for common sense, but I think more broadly for women, for humanity, for the little girl that I'm growing inside of me right now that I will welcome to the world in just a few weeks. I think of her. I think of her future. That is what Donald Trump and, of course, Secretary McMahon and myself, that is what we are fighting for. So very, very excited about today's news.
Awesome. And then I'll just give you one more. So Riley didn't go to UPenn. She swam against Lia, a.k.a. Will, who was at UPenn. But Paula Scanlon did go to UPenn. And Paula Scanlon did have to share a locker room over and over and over with Lia, who the year before had been Will and swimming as a man. And she went on with Link Lauren, our own Link Lauren here on the MK Media Network, and had a couple things to say about this. First of all, she talks about how this is just a first step, SOT 20.
I think a lot of reform needs to be made, but I will say, I don't believe this, and I know you don't believe this, but many people put the Ivy League institutions up on a pedestal. They think they're these amazing institutions. They look to them very highly. And I think there is a lot of value in the University of Pennsylvania and being one of those schools making this decision, because other schools will say, if an Ivy League institution has to do this, maybe they're onto something, and it'll make them also change their ways. So even though I don't value them that way, they still are valued in the general public. And I do think overall this is a huge win, but it's only a first step.
And just one additional bit of color from her on when she was forced to interact with Will, now Lia, who pranced into her locker room with the coach when he was doing a big announcement on somebody new who was joining the team. Listen here to Paula Scanlon, SOT 21.
I was a sophomore. It was 2019. I was a sophomore. I was 19 years old. Our coach called a mandatory team meeting, and he invited a member of the men's team to lead this women's team meeting. And so at the time, going by William Thomas stood before the entire women's team and said, "Hey guys, just really quickly wanted to let you know I now identify as a woman. Please refer to me now with she, her pronouns. I'll be joining your team next season, and stay tuned, guys. I'm still picking my new name, so just keep posted on that." There was something on the NCAA website called the Transgender Inclusion Handbook that said if you are a man competing on any women's sports team, that you can identify as a woman, and within 1 year of taking testosterone suppressant, whatever that even is, you can join any women's sports team that you want to across D1, D2, D3. And the handbook was full of pictures of quite literally men wearing dresses, playing women's sports, saying that they're so happy. That was their evidence to why it was a good policy.
Yes, this is 100% what I voted for. Cracking down on the border, deporting dangerous illegals, restoring sanity in women's sports. Every day is Christmas with President Trump in the Oval Office. I'm sorry, this is exactly what I voted for. It's exactly what I told my fellow Americans they would get if they would believe in Trump, even if they were skeptical. It is why I said he'd be a protector of women and everyone, and remember our forgotten boys too. He's doing it, Stu. He gets no credit from the left, none whatsoever, but he is fulfilling every campaign promise.
Yeah, and it's not just what you voted for, Megyn. It's a good chunk of why he's currently president of the United States. It's why a lot of people voted for him. A lot of people who voted for Joe Biden previously crossed the line and decided to vote for him this time because of issues like this. I mean, they saw a dude, standing on the podium ahead of other women and said, "This is wrong. This is crazy. We all know that this is wrong." They make this claim over and over again. There's no scientific evidence that shows that women are not able to compete at these levels with men. And
Look at this picture. That's him. Obviously, you know which one is him. But who wants to stare at this guy's naked ass 2 inches away from the actual women, parading it around? I feel strongly, it's my opinion, that this guy is an autogynephile, meaning a man who gets sexually aroused from dressing like a woman. And this university forced all these women, in my opinion, to participate in Will Thomas's sexual fetish. It was an abomination. And when they spoke up, people like Paula Scanlon behind the scenes, not even going public, just saying to the university, "I feel uncomfortable." They told the women to get therapy. Let me just tell you something, Stu. We've gone from, I remember the days reporting on this show, it was 2 studios ago, about what was happening with Lia Thomas and what was happening at UPenn and the damned therapy that they told the women to get. And no one was speaking out at that time. They were too scared. And then one by one, they started to. Paula Scanlon came out. She was one of the first. Riley Gaines hadn't even spoken out. Riley, at the beginning, wasn't speaking out about it. We didn't know her name. We knew she had tied. That was it. And finally, she found her voice, and now she's become a national champion, the face, really, of this movement, because she's been totally courageous. Look how far we've come, because women did find their voices. And I have to say, those women and many others got to President Trump, made him listen, explained to him that a woman cannot become a man and that it's not kind to pretend otherwise. And he came fully on board our team and now is fixing it. University by university, institution by institution, he's fixing it. The University of Pennsylvania did not want to bend the knee, but he made them, Stu.
Yeah, you're totally right. I think it's amazing because I almost had forgotten that was kind of Trump's initial position, was sort of a live and let live. Let's not get involved in any of this. And it shows that he will consider, people see him as this rigid character that never will think about anybody else's opinion. Obviously not true. This is a good example of it. And he has become an incredible advocate for this. He's correcting these obvious wrongs. And it's been pretty impressive. And I will say, it goes, you bring up maybe his sexual proclivities, whatever they may be. It's a fascinating thing to highlight in the supposed Me Too era, right? That these college girls were forced to be in a changing room with in a locker room, changing in front of some guy who God only knows what his motivation was to be there. It's revolting. Everyone knows that we were kicking people out of their jobs for making off-color jokes for several years, right. and we're expecting college girls, people's daughters, to be in these rooms with men that are naked, that they don't want to be near. I mean, it's so obvious, and I think that's one of the things that makes this such a powerful issue for people. It is one of those things that all they have to do. We can explain. I can give you the Journal of Applied Physiology that the science that does show that yes, men have an advantage over women in women's sports. We can go through that data. Nobody needs it. Nobody needs it. The reason why there aren't tons of scientific studies on this is because everybody in the world has eyes. And the people secret that can weapons. See with them. Yes, there's secret weapons to discover these things. And when they see that picture, that very uncomfortable picture that I hope you don't show again of Lia Thomas or Will Thomas, they see that and that's enough. And when someone comes to them and demands that you did it, you showed the picture. I can't believe it. I'm very angry. I'm very angry at you and your entire staff. When people see that photo, and then the second part of this is important. When someone comes to them and says they're wrong for what they saw, that the thing that they have known and every human being has known since the beginning of time is wrong, and you're a hateful person and a bad person for saying that, it turns them on the entire movement, right? It turns them on. Wait a minute. If you're telling me that's wrong, what else are you lying about? And that was a major, major point. I mean, you look through all these biographies. I know you talked to Jake Tapper, the stories about the election. I know you talked to Jake Tapper about his. There's been several. All of them show the major effect that came from that one Trump ad, which was, Kamala Harris is for they, them, Trump is for you. That ad was a turning point in this campaign. It is central. It is a really, really important issue because it not only is great for women, for people like Riley Gaines, for my daughter who is in gymnastics, like it's really important for all of them. It also tells the entire story. And people saw that and were able to summarize it easily, and it made a massive difference.
It's happening. Trump made UPenn bend the knee by sicking Linda McMahon on them, noting that this was a violation of girls' rights under Title IX. Trump issued the executive order restoring sanity to Title IX and making clear what it stands for. The U.S. Supreme Court taking up the lower courts striking down of bans on allowing this in state after state. They're ready. They're going to do the right thing. I guarantee it. I guess I shouldn't say guarantee, but I feel very strongly that this U.S. Supreme Court is going to do the right thing and say that states absolutely have the right to ban this, and sanity will be restored there. And so bit by bit, it's happening. Since President Trump was sworn in, his administration has made enormous progress at a breakneck pace. But don't forget, while they are moving mountains for the good of the nation, you've got your personal savings to worry about. And one of the best ways to look after your savings is through diversification, particularly with gold, like from Birch Gold Group. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has increased by 40%. And Birch was an advertiser on this show 12 months ago. If you had purchased then, you'd be 40% richer today. Now's the time. Central banks continue to bolster demand for gold by burying in record quantities. Global instability and tension is high, and Birch Gold makes owning physical gold so easy. Easily convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or buy some to store in your home safe. Just text MK to the number 989898, and Birch Gold is going to send you a free info kit on gold. Look into it, see if it's right for you. There's no obligation, just useful information to help you make a decision. With an A+ rating, with a Better Business Bureau, and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of your savings today. Text MK to 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.